Roman Reigns takes a massive shot at top WWE star. Goldberg criticizes top WWE star's title reign, and Ric Flair teases an in-ring return following his WWE release. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. To stay up to date with all of our content, be sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Roman Reigns takes a massive shot at top WWE star. In a recent interview, WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns shared his thoughts on 16-time World Champion John Cena. The two stars will clash at SummerSlam next week, and the head of the table believes he is leagues above the leader of the C Nation. Following John Cena's return at Money in the Bank, he quickly challenged Reigns for the Universal Championship. The Tribal Chief initially denied Cena's challenge, but the 13-time WWE Champion forced his way into a title match after he stole Finn Balor's shot at the title. Appearing on the latest episode of The Pat McAfee Show, Roman Reigns shared his sentiments about John Cena. The champion stated that Cena has had an impressive career, but he pales in comparison to the Tribal Chief, saying, quote, "There's a lot of good things John Cena's done. Obviously, Make-A-Wish, very charitable. But when it comes to our profession of sports entertainment, he's levels below me in this game. Entertainment is storytelling, right? I'm the greatest storyteller of our generation. And he's a big name. He's a big star. He's a movie star now. But he, like so many other greats, they camouflage themselves. They disguise themselves. You see me every Friday night," end quote. Reigns is currently the top attraction in WWE. Following his return at SummerSlam last year, he has been doing some of the best work of his career. He hasn't been pinned since he came back, but now he faces a tough challenge in the form of John Cena. In the same interview, Reigns further elaborated on what he thinks Cena should have done upon his return instead of challenging for the Universal Championship. He argued that Cena should have simply promoted his movies. Bianca Belair reveals which Olympian inspires her. Bianca Belair recently revealed in an interview that Olympian Simone Biles inspired her. During the interview, Belair recounted her story as a collegiate track and field athlete and how mental health was important. Belair's current run as WWE SmackDown Women's Champion has been nothing short of phenomenal. Since the start of the year, she has won the Royal Rumble match, pinned Sasha for the championship, and defended the title on multiple occasions. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair, in a one-on-one interview with Vibe and Wrestling, showed her newfound admiration for the decorated gymnast Simone Biles. She detailed how the Olympian Simone Biles inspired her by prioritizing her mental health and paused her run in the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics. Belair stressed that athletes are human as well, and sometimes it's okay to prioritize the human aspect over the competition, saying, quote, "Simone Biles is so inspiring on what she did, especially in such a big stage, and she allowed herself to be vulnerable and put her mental health before her physical abilities, and that speaks volumes. As well, the teams and the coaches that she had, the fact that they were able to support her, and they went out of there to support her, and they still won the medal. The message is that athletes are human, and it is so hard mentally, and we have to look at her and admire her for what she did, because there are times that athletes, we feel something was not going well, but we kept on pushing, and it's okay to put your mental health first," end quote. Bianca Belair has already pinned Bayley and Sasha, and has her sights set on pinning Charlotte and Becky Lynch as well. Speaking to Ryan Satin, the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion mentioned that the four horsewomen inspired her to make it big on the WWE main roster. She wanted to be in the spotlight for a new generation of women's wrestlers by pinning the likes of Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair is set to defend her title against Sasha Banks at SummerSlam in a repeat encounter of their WrestleMania main event. Goldberg criticizes top WWE Star's title reign. Goldberg thinks Bobby Lashley hasn't represented the WWE Championship well since winning it earlier this year. Lashley won the title from The Miz on the Raw in March this year and has held it for over 160 days. This is his first reign as world champion in WWE, and he has been supremely dominant since winning the title. In an interview with WWE India, Goldberg discussed Lashley's title reign. He criticized Lashley, calling him very callous and stating that he deserves whatever is coming his way at SummerSlam later this month, saying, quote, "There is a way you should represent the championship title, and I don't believe he's been doing it properly. He's very callous. In this match, my name should not be Goldberg. It should be Karma. He deserves a lot of things coming to him, and I will hopefully be the guy who delivers that." End quote. Goldberg also revealed that he doesn't choose the opponents he faces in WWE. The Hall of Famer, though, has stated that if he were to choose an opponent to face on his return, it would be Bobby Lashley. The first meeting between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley will take place at SummerSlam in front of a huge crowd at the Allegiant Stadium. Apart from the WWE Championship match between Lashley and Goldberg, John Cena and Roman Reigns will face each other for the Universal Championship. The match at the biggest party of the summer will be Cena's first singles match since the Firefly Funhouse match at last year's WrestleMania. Both women's titles will also be on the line as Nikki ASH will defend her Raw Women's title against Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, while Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will have a WrestleMania 37 rematch. Malakai Black and why Zelina Vega re-signed with WWE. Zelina Vega returned to WWE shortly following her release of her husband Malakai Black. Now we know what took place to her return to took place. Malakai Black was a recent guest on Chris Jericho's Talk is Jericho podcast to discuss his pro wrestling career, his time in WWE, and what plans he has now that he's in AEW. During their discussions, Black revealed that he is the main reason his wife Zelina Vega returned to WWE before his release was so the two could spend more time together, saying, quote, "Johnny Ace calls me, and even he was confused. I saw his number pop up, and I looked at my wife. We're in the gym. I was just warming up. I remember thinking in my head, here we go, because why would he call me on a Thursday morning? So that conversation happened. I was shocked, and my wife started crying because she knew. My wife with tears in her eyes, and I feel so bad for her because she was about to come back, and one of the main reasons she wanted to come back is because I was there, which was more or less the driving force, other than the promises that they made her." End quote. While Malakai Black has already had great success in All Elite Wrestling, as he was immediately inserted into a feud with AEW EVP Cody Rhodes, unfortunately, the same can't be said for Zelina Vega's return to WWE thus far. Although she's been consistently featured on SmackDown since her return, she's yet to win a match that hurts her standing and credibility in the eyes of the WWE Universe. Ric Flair teases an in-ring return following WWE release and shares new training photos. Two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair has fueled the rumors about an in-ring return at the age of 72 with his latest tweet. A record 16-time world champion and one of the legends in the business, Flair was surprisingly released by the company last week. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T noted on his podcast that he is under the impression that the Nature Boy wants to have one more run. Flair has now sent out a tweet claiming that he will never retire. The tweet has a video clip attached of his promo on Raw in 2007. The tweet says, quote, "I have to announce to you that I will never retire. I will only retire when I'm dead in this ring, over my dead body. I've got too much juice left. Woo! I'm still the Nature Boy." End quote. The Nature Boy also previously shared pictures of him training in the gym. Following his release, the Hall of Famer put out a statement that the company and him didn't see eye to eye on some business opportunities and requested his release to be able to explore those options. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories and exclusive content, be sure you follow us on all of our social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.